Now it's 350 years since fire tore through the streets of London, threatening the future of the city itself. Historians still dispute exactly what happened and how so much destruction came from a bacon's oven on Pudding Lane. Here's Sarah Harris.
Fire. 350 years ago, a threat to the City of London itself. Over 5 days it spread south and then east as people fled, throwing their belongings into the Thames. 4 blazes united into one huge flame. The smoke stretched for 50 miles, even taking hold of the original St Paul's Cathedral. The Great Fire of London is one of the most analysed events in London's history. Children as young as 7 learn in school that this is the place where it all started. But there are still arguments among historians about exactly what happens, and that includes the exact position of Pudding Lane itself.
And it's completely buckled.
Yeah, it's basically folded in half.
At the Museum of London Archives, roof tiles found close to Pudding Lane show how intense the fire was. Historians say it couldn't have started at a worse place.
They found a burnt-out cellar of a building that had been destroyed, and in there evidence for about 20 barrels of tar. So you can imagine as the fire comes down the hill, gets to these tar barrels, how it would have spread the fire even further. And it's tempting to think that perhaps if this cellar full of tar wasn't there, would it have spread as badly as it did?
Paintings give a panoramic view of the scale of the destruction across the city, but archaeologists preparing for a new exhibition at the Museum of London are still looking for clues in the rubble.
Well, things that might look like unidentified lumps of something corroded can be identified for what the actual form of the object is. For instance, this particular part of the site seems to have been some sort of hardware store that was selling locks and padlocks and keys, and it's possible to identify exactly what the objects were from x-raying them.
The rebuilding after 1666 defied the destruction of the fire, giving us the City of London we know today. Sarah Harris, BBC London News.